Okay, we are here with Edie Osborne, CEO of Mentor Plus. And Edie, I'm hoping we can talk a little bit about the Consulting Accountants Roundtable. I'm curious to find out how it is that you got started with the idea and got it rolling.
Well, thanks. I'm happy to share the story. It happened, 20 years ago. I was exposed to a concept called the mastermind group. If you've read Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, then you're familiar with the idea. And as a result of that, I took my business consulting skills and began business roundtables. What was interesting about that is I had a lot of individual clients that I was doing coaching with, but those that belonged to the roundtables were far more successful than those that I just coached over the phone or, one on one. And of course, that absolutely reinforces the idea of the mastermind effect. The idea that when you get a group of people together, they share their goals, there's a higher level of accountability, there's more support. And if you get together on a regular basis, you move much faster toward your goals. And so the mastermind effect is what we started our business roundtables based on. And then we also were approached by a group of accountants asking us to do the same thing just for accountants. And so with that, we started our Consulting Accountants Roundtable in 1997. We launched. And I'm pleased to say we have some members today that were with us on that day as well, which is kind of a nice,
terrific
testament.
Mm-hmm. So, what kind of training and tools do you provide to the members of the roundtable?
Well, going back to this concept of a mastermind effect, in those sessions, people share their goals and then, they get ideas and support from those around them. We take it a step further. The focus of this group is to grow their consulting skills, to be able to serve a greater base of needs for their clients, to be able to leverage their time in terms of non-seasonal revenues, to be less dependent on tax revenues and accounting revenues and have a much broader base of services that they can offer to their clients. So because of that, we have three key elements in every CART session, and that is networking. Everybody gets to hear what everybody else is doing, and of course the accountability that comes with that. The second piece is advanced training and tools. And this is where, based on the needs of the group, based on what's cutting edge, we kind of have our eyes out way ahead of the profession. Oftentimes, our group is referred to as a think tank for the accounting profession. We're bringing tools, ideas, concepts, speakers, all kinds of things to the group on a regular basis. And these are things that they can go back and use immediately with their clients. Just a quick example, we did a whole session on Kaizen. We developed a Kaizen event workbook that our members were able to take back and implement using it with their clients. So it isn't just education, it's education with a tool that they can take back and use with their clients. So it's pretty robust. And the third element is always going to be about, that sort of intangible bond that the group has formed with each other that really gives them the courage to go forward even when they don't have full support of their partners or they get buried in day-to-day stuff. The group helps to pull them forward.
Fantastic. So, explain to me why is this group different? I mean, obviously this is not the only mastermind group out there. You are not the only person that read Think and Grow Rich. How does this group differentiate itself from other like groups of folks?
That's a great question, and I get excited about the answer because most groups that come together, whether it's industry association groups or accounting association groups, they're coming together to learn, and there's great value in that, but you don't see that higher level of accountability. Our members share it all, the good, the bad, the ugly. They talk about the things they can't talk about to anybody else in their firm. So there's a high level of confidentiality and trust that comes with this group. And the longevity of our membership is a big part of that. And just on that, this is not a big group. We typically hover between 20 and 30 members. And, people come and go based on needs. We have a lot that, as I said, have been here from the start. But those needs change and their level of support from partners and others in their firm changes. And so they come and go through the group, but we have a real strong alumni that come back maybe once a year. And I just don't think your average association gathering really creates that sort of internal community. It really is a community of folks, and they use each other that way as well. It's not at all unusual for one of our members in California to contact a member in New York and start asking, accounting questions, audit questions, resource questions that they wouldn't have access to otherwise. And so these are small to medium-sized firms that, as a group, really are able to act as a much larger firm because they have so many resources around them.
Sure. So, obviously it's a pretty diverse group, but it's also a small group, and it's got to be the right mindset of the people that are in that group. So who's your ideal CART member?
Thank you for asking that. This is not for everybody, and it's by invitation only. And the reason for that is the dynamic of the group is absolute. And so, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but we don't let folks in who tend to monopolize. We don't let folks in who are yes butters. Well, I tried this but, or I didn't, they come up with all the excuses why they can't get things done. We don't let any Debbie Downers in. These, you know who they are. They're the ones that have a reason why nothing's going to work. And so you have to be, positive minded. You have to be interested in growing and changing. You've got to be somebody who's respectful of other opinions. We have some heated discussions about how things could or should be, and heaven help us, we often get off on politics and religion, but this is a group that has at the end of the day total respect and admiration for each other. And so it's not right for everyone. You have to have a very collaborative type personality to fit well into this group.
That's great. So just one last question and we'll wrap this up here. What is just a really terrific success story that you can share with me that, was an experience of one of your CART members?
Well, there's lots of them.
I'm sure there's tons.
But I think the biggest issues have been, or the greatest successes have come from scenarios where the client, I'll give you one example. One of our practitioners in Northern California here had a client that he's had for years and years, 15 years as a client, a successful trucking company. And he was helping the client set up a sort of succession plan and looking down the road, and some issues came up that were tender and sensitive, and the client pulled back because we found out later he was not wanting this accountant, who he's known for all these years, to really see the bad and the ugly. He'd always shared the good, but not necessarily the bad and the ugly. And it was the skill set that this practitioner had that allowed him to go in and be very genuine, as the book Getting Naked by Patrick Lencioni says, you've got to let down your guard, leave your ego at the door. And he went in and he said, look, we've been good friends for 20 years and I need to know why you don't want to go forward and work on these projects. And it was that sensitivity that I think we often believe that the client is saying no because of their lack of trust in us. And, what we learn in the roundtable is every client needs help. Mm-hmm. Every single one of them needs help. They don't know what to ask for sometimes. They say no in the beginning because they're kind of threatened at the idea of somebody from the outside coming in. But with the right skill set and the right ability to ask questions, facilitate processes, it really softens some of those hard edges that are there when other consultants come in. And so it gives practitioners who've been through our training have tremendous soft skills. We work on their emotional intelligence skills and behavioral assets, and we really help them become better people. It's all about the people skills. Well, accountants aren't always famous for their people skills, and so we work a lot on that. We also obviously work a lot on how to present financial information in ways that are meaningful to the clients. And I would tell you, one of our practitioners in New York would speak again and again and again about how our tools have made the difference between getting the engagement and not getting the engagement.
Sure.
That just sitting down with one prospect with our Scopit software and going through a different perspective on the client's numbers is what brings them in. You know, they'll say, you know, I assume that you know how to do tax returns. I assume you know how to be a good accountant. What I'm looking for is somebody that doesn't make assumptions about my business, somebody that wants to know more about my business. And so, you know, there are lots of examples, and I think if you go to passionateaccountant.com, that's where you're going to find a lot of our members sharing specific stories that they can point to this training Mentor Plus as a reason why it's happened.
Absolutely. Awesome. Thank you so much for the time.
You're welcome. Thank you for listening in.